welcome to the very first installment of What? Why? God, from apathy to questions. And the point is to make us feel more comfortable having those kind of natural conversations with people and not think that you have to get them from point A to point B or point Z, but that you can maybe just start a spark with a conversation that you're having with somebody who is having questions or even apathetic, like asking them questions. So anyway, today our first guest is Missy Edgmon. She is our women's minister, and she has a great quirky personality, which I love. She always makes me laugh. And I just thought it would be really good. And we were having this conversation about when we have conversations with people about God. And when she first became a Christian, she told me about an event that happened with somebody who wasn't a Christian, and it totally threw her off her guard. And she just did not know how to respond, and it really upset her. And so I kind of want to start with that. I mean, you know, when we first become Christians, you were talking a little bit about that, how you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? And
yeah, because it wasn't even when I first became a Christian, because I feel like my whole time with God, he's just brought me along I think it's not quite supposed to be like it happened with me, but you know, I made a public declaration when I was about 12, and then nothing really happened, and we didn't go to church anymore. And so you just sort of like, what is that? And then I went to a Christian college, where I feel like that's when I really feel like I publicly sealed the deal. You know, I was baptized. I was starting to learn about the Bible. I was starting to walk in obedience. And then again, it was just sort of like, now what? Then what? You know, you would go away from college, and we were going to church on Sundays, but it was kind of like, I don't know, you know, I wouldn't have been able, I don't know. You just live life and you go to church. So how is that much different than anybody else, really? And so I was talking with somebody that I knew well, and the topic came up. So by then, I'm like 30 something at this point. And
which you always feel like, oh, I should know a whole bunch, right? I mean, like, I should know what I'm talking about. But
I mean, I kind of like to remember how old I was before God started to grow me, because it just shows, I mean, nobody's too old. Nobody's too old. And so.
But not only that, but I mean, what you're saying is like, there's a long span from when you decided you were going to become a Christian until you had this conversation with somebody that totally caught you off guard. So
yeah,
tell us about that.
He basically just said, you know, I think the Bible and the stuff in the Bible is just kind of stupid. And I was just so taken aback. I actually started crying. So that would be like one thing I don't recommend. I don't recommend crying, because then people just feel bad, and they're either going to not want to talk about it because it just made you feel bad, or they're going to go along with you so that you don't get upset. Or, you know, getting angry would be the same kind of thing. I didn't get angry. I was just shocked. I was so shocked. I hadn't really met anybody that just flat out said they thought the things of Christianity were stupid before. So I think for a while there, some of my Bible study became like wanting to answer that for him, which is also a thing I don't recommend. You know, don't read the Bible trying to answer someone else's questions or trying to like win an argument. That's you read it so God can show you himself, because that's what's going to flow out of you later. You know, like what you actually learn about God is what's going to be able to flow out of you naturally later, and you'll be able to be very confident in that, because God showed you these things. It's not like you're just trying to put together a list of, well, this is why you should believe in God, and this is why you should know that the Bible is the Word of God. It's great to have those things. Those are very handy things to know why our faith is reliable. But if you're just trying to do it with a certain person in mind to convince them, that's probably just going to be a frustration.
I think, you know, one of the things I've learned is, and we talked a little bit about this, is to ask questions. Well, why do you feel that way? What evidence do you have? What's happened to you? You know, and you don't have to give them the answers as to why, you know, because everybody's experience is different. And I think we talked a little bit about that too before, about how you don't know where somebody is at in their walk. And like I said before, we start here and we end somewhere over here before we die, hopefully. So you said you couldn't answer the question, and so how did you change that?
I didn't. Really, I think there wasn't a lot of opportunity. There still has not been a lot of opportunity to talk to this person much. Again, their hearts are just not open. They're just not. So, but it's not over, you know. So just, I think taking the long view. We talked about this before yesterday as we were talking today. Taking the long view that people are in a process. We're all in a process, and the way that you live your life as a Christian, the way that you put your faith in God, the way that you prioritize the things of God, the way that you respond to crises in your life, all of these things are going to be a witness of your faith. And everybody's going to hit hard stuff. And I don't know, just waiting for God's timing with things, asking God to intervene in this person's life through other people as well, that it's not all on me. I do think I really finally grew into that. I think I did put a lot of pressure on myself for years that I needed to be able to, I should be able to do, I don't know, could fill in the blank. And I found that that's not how God designed us all to work. You know, he made the church so that we all have a lot of different gifts that we get to employ, but we don't all have the same gift. And it, you know, the one person's going to sow and one person's going to reap. And that's just the way it's going to be. So we're not always going to see the beginning, middle, and end of another person's journey. And we're not always going to have a hand in it, but we can do the part that we're supposed to do.
You can light that spark. Because, I mean, sometimes it's like a little spark here, a little spark there, a little spark there. Remember, you don't have to have all the answers. If somebody has a question, you can say, hey, I can get back to you on that. And really, that's what it's about, just being Christ to other people. And I just thank you for this. And I hope this helped you in your journey and your walk to help others become better Christians or know who God is. Thanks, Missy. Hey, thanks for watching us today. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them online at firstcolonychurch.org. And if you have any questions, send those to us too. If there is something you would like us to discuss, that would be great.